Yo, what's going on, guys? SCJ here, back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the Nets again. I know we mainly talked about KD in the video in which I'm referencing, which was on why KD will come back the same, but still, it was a Nets player and we mentioned the team, so I digress. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about the news that got me hyped as a Nets fan when I saw it on Thursday, and that is that the Nets are having internal discussions about trading for Bradley Beal. So with that, let's get right into the video. So, like I said, when I seen this news, it got me hyped up. I personally love Bradley Beal, and since the 16-17 season when he became a 20-point-per-game scorer, I felt that even though he was already in his 5th year in the league, he still had another level or more room to go to improve and develop as a player. Clearly, that has happened, and for the first time in his career, he's in the 30-point scoring range for scoring average. It's crazy to see that he's continued to grow and improve in pretty much all 8 seasons that he's been in the league, aside from when he started to get hit with injuries from 2014 until 2016. Today, we're going to be talking about how the Nets could possibly trade for Bradley Beal, what a trade would look like, and how he would fit in with both Kyrie and KD on the Nets. So first, let's talk about what a possible trade between the Nets and Wizards for Bradley Beal would look like. As someone who's been a diehard Nets fan my whole life and currently writes about the Nets with the BrooklynGame.com, I've been hearing a lot of rumors on which players are out the door, which ones are going to be rumored to be on the trade block soon because the team is ready to move on, or which ones KD and Kyrie want out the door, or which ones they want to trade so they can get a third star in the building, and those guys are Caris LeVert, Jarrett Allen, and also Rodions Kurucs. Another guy the Nets have not been exploring a trade for, but almost definitely would be on the Wizards' radar if they do begin talking a Bradley Beal trade with the Nets, is Spencer Dinwiddie. Nets GM Sean Marks has seemed to try and replicate the same model that San Antonio built one of the best dynasties and most successful franchises off of, and that model is to have a young, hungry coach that you plan on keeping for over a decade to pair with a great front office and a star player, star point guard, and an excellent sixth man. And until March of this year, it looked like Marks had done a good job of building his own model for the Nets, which was based off his alma mater in San Antonio. However, with the team finding out that Kenny Atkinson wasn't the right guy, that model or attempt at building the model like San Antonio took a blow. And if they do in fact trade for Bradley Beal, it might take another blow if they're forced to part ways with one of the top 5 or top 3 sixth men in the league, Spencer Dinwiddie. It's seeming like the Nets are almost definitely going to be forced to part ways with Dinwiddie in order to trade for Bradley Beal, as Beal is assumingly looked at highly by his organization, and I mean, as he is one of the best shooting guards in the league, he should be, and I don't think just trading him for LeVert, Allen, and possibly Kurucs and a few draft picks is near Beal's value at all. However, the Nets might not be totally screwed if they're forced to deal Dinwiddie in a Beal trade, which, like I said, I think is pretty much close to a guarantee. Reason being, please enter Chris Chiozza. I'm sure this might come off as a bias to many people, but please hear me out. In order to afford Kyrie, KD, Beal, and put solid players around them, you're going to need to keep open as much cap space as possible, and replacing Dinwiddie with Chiozza does just that. Also, while it's an extremely small sample size, when Chiozza actually got playing time, other than in blowout losses or wins, he looked pretty damn solid. He may not be no Spencer Dinwiddie, but he does not have to be. In the March 3rd victory in Boston, in which Caris LeVert dropped 51 points, the Nets gave Chiozza his first real NBA minutes on a competitive team. Since entering the league, Chiozza only received a small sample size of playing time, and he got that while he was a member of the Wizards earlier this season, after never playing over 7 minutes and 14 seconds with the Rockets last season. In the last 5 games before the NBA suspended the season, Chiozza looked like a real key contributor off the bench for the Nets going forward. After receiving 20 minutes for the first time in his career during that win in Boston, Chiozza seemed locked in. In that extremely small, yet extremely encouraging sample size of games we saw from Chiozza, he averaged 10 points, 3.2 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 0.6 steals on 55.9 shooting in 19.1 minutes per game. His nose for the ball and tough style of play draws comparisons to Fred VanVleet, and if the Nets and Ibaka are interested in each other, like reports are saying, building a team similar to the current reigning defending champions is not a bad idea at all. So all in all, if the deal does happen, it would probably look something like LeVert, Allen, Dinwiddie, Kurucs, draft picks, and possibly some other player or players in there for Beal to the Nets to even become a possibility. Now, let's talk about why Beal is a perfect fit and the perfect third star for the Nets, beyond the fact that he would clearly be the Nets' second or third best player. Let's start with the first reason. The first reason is that even though, of course, the Nets didn't have their two best players or two stars for most of the season, or basically they just had one of their two stars for 20 games this season, the rest of the team just didn't seem like adding KD and Kyrie in with them would result in a championship team. Ever since Christmas passed, the Nets didn't look like the old team that they did in the beginning of the season, and they were clearly having issues. Even the team from early in the season without Kyrie didn't look like this one. Ever since the blowout loss to the Knicks on December 26th, the Nets had a 7-game losing streak, a 5-game losing streak, and a 4-game losing streak all since that game. Dinwiddie started making mistakes, LeVert started dealing with injury issues and had trouble getting back to his old self, and no one else was stepping up. So thinking that adding KD and Kyrie into that team would answer all the issues and makes them a title contender was an absolute silly thought. Secondly, let's talk about style of play. As of right now, aside from a few guys, the Nets pretty much have a roster full of players who can be looked at as one-dimensional players or one-dimensional scorers. They either have guys who are just going out on the court with the intent to affect the game with scoring, or the good scorers that they do have only can score in one way, whether that be dunks, layups, threes, or mid-range jumpers. So getting rid of Dinwiddie, LeVert, and Allen and replacing them with Bradley Beal really is not a bad idea at all, when Beal is very capable of driving to the rim, playing a role in the catch-and-shoot game, or just scoring in many different ways. If you can run multiple different styles of offense as a player or as a team, that's typically a recipe for success. A great example of this can be shown when looking at the 2018-2019 Boston Celtics. Many people, including myself, thought this team would be much better than they actually were, but they pretty much just gave the most minutes to players whose key role was to work with the ball and only affect the game with the ball in their hands. As you can see here, the lineup of Horford, Kyrie, Morris, Smart, and Tatum worked out much better than the lineup of Horford, Hayward, Kyrie, Brown, and Tatum. Why? Because aside from Horford, with the second lineup I just named you pretty much just have guys out there who constantly needed the ball in their hands and needed to dribble in order to score and be the best versions of themselves. Also, most importantly, you have everybody in their own roles. You have Kyrie, who's your ball handler and is running the offense. You have Tatum, who's your first or second option, depending on how Kyrie is playing and shooting. Smart is like your 3-and-D player, as he played that role surprisingly well over the last few years. And Morris and Horford are your tough big men who can be physical inside, rebound the basketball, and also shoot the long ball. Look at the Celtics team this year. Before the season got suspended, they were the 3rd seed in the East and a 43-win team. Was it Kyrie and because he's a locker room cancer like everyone says? Or is it because by replacing him with Kemba Walker, who, while is still top point guard in the league, is less talented than him in my opinion, but definitely a better facilitator, they're getting much better results? Maybe I'm a dumbass and I don't know what I'm talking about, but it seems like when you got guys with both talent and distinct roles on a team, that is what is necessary to win an NBA championship. By trading for Bradley Beal, a lineup of Kyrie, KD, Beal, DeAndre Jordan, and whoever you have at the power forward position looks like a lot better lineup than the one they currently have with KD and Kyrie in it. So with that, that's going to be it. I just wanted to make this quick video on this news and talk about this situation since it just popped up, and I feel like I might as well get some content out there about it while the news is still hot and while I still can. Anyway, if you liked the video, hit the like button. If you want to see more NBA related videos and content, hit the subscribe button. I'm SCJ and I am out. Peace.